Hello everyone and welcome back to Dr. Shorov's classes. So today we are tackling a question from the Putnam competition. Now for those who don't know, the Putnam is the final boss of the undergraduate math in the North America. It's a 6-hour examination where the median score is often 0. Yes, 0. People walk in, see the questions, cry and walk out. But not us. We are going to look at the problem and make it our best friend. So look at the problem. Let m0 and n0 be distinct positive integers. For every positive integer k, define mk and nk to be the relatively prime positive integers such that mk by nk is equal to 2mk minus 1 plus 1 by 2 into nk minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so prove that 2mk plus 1 and 2nk plus 1 are relatively prime for all but finitely many positive integers k. Okay, so let me make some space. Okay, now listen. We start with two random integers, m0 and n0, right? Then for every step k, we define mk and nk as the simplified fraction of what? 2 into mk minus 1 plus 1 by 2 into nk minus 1 plus 1. So basically we take the odd numbers, double them, add 1 and then cancel out the common factors until they are relatively prime. So the question asks us to prove that eventually 2mk plus 1 and 2nk plus 1 will stop having common factors altogether. They will be relatively prime for all but finitely many values of k. Okay, so the cancelling out party eventually ends here. Now notice something very weird. If we let xk equal to mk and yk equal to nk, then the transformation looks like 2x plus 1, right? Now what happens to the difference? So mk into something, that is 2mk minus 1 plus 1, nk into something is what? 2 into n k minus 1 plus 1, right? And if we subtract them, so we get 2 into m k minus 1 plus 1 minus 2 into n k minus 1 plus 1, right? So we got 2 into m k minus 1 minus n k minus 1, right? Now the difference is just doubling. Okay, and ignoring the reduction factor, this smells like powers of 2. So okay, let's get serious now. So to prove they become relatively prime, let's track the greatest common divisor, that is the GCD. Now let GK equal to GCD of 2 into mk minus 1 plus 1 and 2 into n k minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so by definition we can say that 2 into m k minus 1 plus 1 is equal to gk into mk, right? And 2 into n k minus 1 plus 1 is equal to what? gk into nk, right? Now let's look at the absolute difference, that is the dk. This is mod of mk minus nk. Okay, so dk will be what? dk will be mod of 2 into mk minus 1 plus 1 by gk minus 2 into nk minus 1 plus 1 by gk. So this will be equal to 2 into mod of mk minus 1 minus nk minus 1 sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, okay. Now this will be equal to 2 into mod of m k minus 1 minus n k minus 1 by gk. Right? Now we have a sequence of differences. Dk equal to 2 by gk dk minus 1. Right? So if gk greater than equal to 3, then dk is equal to 2 by gk into dk minus 1, that is less than equal to 2/3 dk minus 1. Right? The difference is shrinking. Okay, so if gk equal to 1, then the difference might grow, it doubles, but gk is 1 is exactly what we want to prove happens eventually. So since dk is always a positive integer, because mk not equals to nk and it can't shift forever, so if it keeps shrinking, it must eventually hit a point where it can't shrink anymore unless gk becomes small. Okay, so wait, there is a catch. Okay, so gk can only be an odd integer. Why? Because 2 into mk minus 1 plus 1 is always odd. So gk can be what? 1, 3, 5, 7 and this. Okay, and if gk is ever greater than equal to 3 for infinitely many k, the difference dk would eventually become less than 1. But dk is an integer and mk not equals to nk, so dk greater than equal to 1. Okay, now suppose gk greater than 1 infinitely often, and every time gk greater than equal to 3, dk gets multiplied by what? 2 by gk, and every time gk equal to 1, then dk doubles. But if gk equal to 1 for a long time, dk becomes a huge power of 2 times some odd number. So eventually the odd part of the difference dk must stay constant or disappear. So actually the simplest way to see it, like dk is always factor of the original difference d0 multiplied by some power of 2. Okay, so since d0 only has infinitely many odd divisors, and each time gk greater than 1, so it's one of those odd divisors, and gk must eventually become 1 for all future k. Okay, and that, my friends, is how you tackle a Putnam question. And we did not just solve it, we understood the physics of the numbers, and the odd factors in the difference are finite resource, and the recurrence is a hungry monster eating them up until only one is left. Okay, so important things are what? Recurrence relation, that is, just a second. Yeah, so the recurrence relation is what? mk by nk equal to 2 into mk minus 1 plus 1 by 2 into nk minus 1 plus 1. Okay, and the key idea was what? Track the evolution of mod of mk minus nk. Okay, and the GCD GK must be odd because it divides an odd number, and the odd part of the difference mod of mk minus nk is non-increasing, and once all odd factors are removed, GK must be 1. Okay, So this was the whole logic behind this question. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. If you have any kind of doubt regarding this, you can ask me. So see you in the next session, guys. Till then, bye bye.